right thing.
Buddy, I got to do something to make money. I'm not
No,
making any money
Yeah,
he's ski
here.
patrol.
ski patrol. Yeah, same.
I guess we're
Well, I
on
got
the
to
air.
move.
I didn't hear the fun music, so I didn't know that the dancing part was over. It is December 29th, 2025. Oh, wait, maybe it's back there. Or maybe that's just David shuffling papers. That's our new music for the morning. Here with David Maris, Bob Morris, Nadine Turman for Wall Street Beats, powered by Passes. We're on the broadcast. Hopefully, you're in your seat listening in. Um, what is that music? Who is doing that? Anyways,
We're getting
David, let's
music
start with
now.
you. I know you came in, a little rough this morning. I don't know if it's about the markets or just, a hard weekend, but what's on your mind market wise or stock
Well,
wise?
I'm retweeting. Hold on, give me a second. I'm
Oh my
retweeting.
God. All
Ready
right, let's
for
go to Let's go to
2026.
Bob then. I don't want delays here. Bob, what's on your mind?
Wow, he's in a rush
So
today.
I'm looking at, in my mind is still that I think 2026 is going to be a very good year for energy. I mean, we had the
Okay.
pullback in oil prices in 25. The stocks held up. Our picks are all up year to date, although some of them maybe not as much as the market. But
Yep.
oil continues to flirt here with $60 a barrel.
Yep.
And everybody knows about the supply issues and the supply concerns, but the economy continues to be strong. And,
Yep.
and the geopolitical concerns are popping their head up again today. The oil's
Yep.
up over a buck and a quarter. It's both these tensions with Venezuela, which we talked about last week, could go either way. Near term, more of a bullish factor. Longer term, perhaps bearish if there is some regime change and rejuvenation of their oil field infrastructure. But that's a long ways out. But at the
Okay.
same time, you've got Iran declaring all out war against the U.S. and UK and everybody, and Hamas rebuilding in the Middle East, and questions about the sustainability or feasibility of a longer term peace deal in the Middle East with Hamas. And so, and despite, and that's all going on despite what are the headlines that maybe there's a
Yeah.
peace deal that we're closer to between Russia and Ukraine. So I
Yeah.
think fundamentally, oil sort of bottomed on the fundamentals, but now they keep getting a little bit of a bumper support from these geopolitical concerns or tensions that will continue to percolate. And so, in the meantime, natural
So C
gas
and Q,
continues
we
to be
know you
strong.
love C and Q. We know
Yep.
you love C and Q. What are the names? Like somebody's just listening for the first time today. They're a new subscriber. What
Mhm.
what should they go into? What's a good buy day? Is it just
Yep.
like
So I was going to mention,
XLE or there's certain names? What do they do?
yeah. So the one thing I want to mention on the call this morning is my top three picks for 2026, and they
All
would
right.
be C&Q,
Yep.
Expand Energy, EXC, and Chevron. And
Okay.
you've got a mix there. You've got an oily name, you've got a natural gas focused name, and then you've got an integrated that benefits from both the upstream and the downstream in the sector. So those would be for a new investor, my top three picks for 2026.
And what about Energy Transfer? I know I've heard that name splashed around on the show before. What are you doing with ET?
I own a bit of Energy Transfer. It's not my top pick. I actually have Williams and Kinder Morgan and Enbridge in ahead of it. Remember, it's MLP, so you still have to file
Yeah.
the separate filings for
Okay.
that. And it does pay very good dividend, a very yield. I own it, but I put it's in my basket of four midstream names, of which it's probably fourth.
Okay. All right. So
Valero is a name that
anything?
I've continued to try to build a little bit of a position in. I'm not up to market weight yet. I'm just nibbling at it. It's down a little bit here today, but Valero's a newer position I'm trying to build, but still a small position for me at this moment.
Okay. Well, thanks. Anything else on that note, or what do you? Is it just going to be about geopolitical, or is this more of a cyclical or like a demand side at all? When you're telling people about energy, clearly it underperformed relative to tech or gold or other kind of positions, but what is going to move the dial for it next year? Is it just a rebound in allocations? What's going to happen?
No, I think it's a reaffirmation of the fundamentals. Now, you've got the fundamentals for crude oil and you've got the fundamentals for natural gas. I think
Yeah.
the fundamentals for natural gas are very clear. And you've got this demand pickup that's going to come. It's going to come from the expansion of these data centers. It's going to come from some LNG expansion and a strong economy. And the only question or risk there really is we get a warm winter and we come out of the winter with plenty of storage like we did last year. But I think the fundamentals are clearly there in place for natural gas going forward from here. Now, crude oil, the concern all along, and it's just in the market, it's widely known that there may be a little bit of oversupply versus demand in 2026, but then that begins to dissipate as demand continues to grow and as large producers like the US basically are holding production essentially flat. Nobody's out there saying we're going to increase production or anything like that. Yes, you see the commercials on TV with Chevron saying that they added 20% to production this year. Well, that was mainly acquisitions. So it wasn't that
Doesn't
they went
count.
out and ramped up drilling activity. And so I think the fundamentals for crude oil are very strong here also. I don't think oil's going to 50 or below $50 a barrel. And yes, we may be a little bit oversupplied, but the economy remains strong. And as long as that's the case, then I think the demand will continue to eat away at that oversupply as we go through the year.
All right. Well, thank you. David, are you done typing now? Are we
Well, I
reading back?
retweeted, but I said I'm so tired. I'm ready for the next year to begin, and that's how I feel right about now. I did not have
Nice. Yeah, that's
the
really motivating for people.
well, I did not have the vacation that I thought. I just had family members around, and yeah, I love them all, but
Yeah.
it's
That's a
tiring. It's
drain.
tiring.
That's a
Yeah.
drain. Yeah.
So no, ending the year, I mean, obviously healthcare has done really well especially in the
Yeah.
second half of the year, and the overhang lifted, and I think that's going to continue through next year. Obviously, when you get a big macro lift, like some sort
Yes.
of overhang being removed, then following year, or as you turn the calendar page and you're 6 months into that now
Almost
it's
there.
execution.
Yeah.
It should continue. People are probably market weight now or close to it on healthcare, and so outperformance really has to be on execution. What is executing, which is really interesting, is that the GLP-1s continue to have increased prescriptions. So it's not as though we're churning patients now. You're
Yeah.
still seeing new patients in the US come on board. This week's prescription data came out and showed Lilly now up to 65% market share. So they're really winning the race, as I've said before, and they're spending every dollar that they can on different acquisitions and the rest, which that's what drug companies do. They're like people with money in their pocket that haven't had it before. Sometimes they like to flash it around. Hopefully, they'll be smart about it and not commit to overspending. But Morgan Stanley's out with a note this morning saying that they see 11% upside to the number for the fourth quarter, which that's pretty good. So Lilly hasn't been a consistent quarter beater in this last year. They've kind of not been great at predicting things. But excuse me, in my experience, what happens when companies have big blockbusters like this is that they get escape velocity. They get to a point where things are just so profitable that they either do a lot of deals, and Lilly's been doing
Yeah.
a lot of deals, but they also have to start to show the number. They
Yeah.
can't keep
Yeah.
now, the first quarter for drug companies is usually the modest quarter. So you have the fourth quarter that could be a blowout, but then the guidance could be pretty modest. And a
Right.
lot of companies do this, not just drug companies, but larger, smart companies. And then they know that through the year they can start to surprise. Why give really aggressive guidance in the year at the
Sure.
beginning of the year? So though Lilly is, I think, is pretty well positioned going into this coming year. They have a winner. It's going to continue to win. The other company, though, that I've been watching, I own a little bit of this Hong Kong-based company, Ascletus, and I'll give you the number because
Yeah.
Hong
What's the
Kong
number?
stocks go by 1672. They have a GLP-1, and the stock's kind of been under a little bit of pressure. They put out, oh, Nadine's gone.
I'm gone. No, I'm not gone. I just dropped my
They,
mouse. Sorry about that. I'm just going for 1672. I want to see this. I want to see the numbers here. Getting on my
so
Bloomberg right when you say
they,
it.
Yeah, so they've been under a little bit of pressure because they came out with their data and their weight loss isn't as big as the current
Yeah.
injectable GLP-1s. They have an oral drug. But the part that interests me about this is that the oral drug that they're working on, um, they only showed a 7-week data,
Okay.
13-week data. And they had pretty significant weight loss. Again, not as big as the GLP-1 injectables, but their GI side effects were half the published rate of GLP-1s. So it's not a head to head, so they can't really say that it's half, but they can say that the current drugs are at this level, we're at half that level. Um, that's actually really attractive. If you remember what I've said about these drugs, is that if you're going to try to get market share, you have to have something different. So you have to either be an
Okay.
oral drug, you have to have lower side effects, you have to be possibly muscle sparing, so that you're not just losing muscle and fat. So there are a lot of different things that are going on, but Lilly and Novo still are in the lead. They also have multiple programs that they're working on. So, but this is one to take a look at if you're looking for international exposure and you want something that could be a giant home run, could also be a
It's
zero.
already up
Could be
3x this year. I'm just looking at this. So is it still just cheap, or when you think
yeah.
about
It's
it,
still
what
it's one of these things where if they announce a deal with a US company or
right.
they show better phase 2 data, then it's, 3x from a small base is
Mhm.
nothing really. So
Okay.
so I
Okay.
still own it. I'm gonna hang around. It's kinda dipped a little bit, so not not a
And
bad
just so
entry
people
point if I
know,
didn't
because
I didn't own it.
so people know, is ASCLETIS Pharma.
Yeah, yes. 1672. Um,
So that's one that you're looking at. And then if somebody hadn't been in the healthcare biotech sector, right? Sectors, and industry so far this year, you're talking about, there's obviously the fund flows came in there. This is what Bob's hoping for energy next year, is that you get the fund flows, the energy sector lifts. But you sounds like you have to be name by name in this one, or can you still just own an ETF that's
well,
broad based? Like if you're letting people
yeah,
know
you
who
you
haven't
could
been
own.
positioned here, what do you do?
Yeah, so there are 2 big ETFs, that cover the I mean, there are lots, but let's talk about the 2
Yeah,
most liquid and lowest, or among the
yeah,
lowest, fees. It's the XLV and the XBI. The XLV is
yeah,
all healthcare and pharma, and have very heavily pharma weighted, and then you have the XBI, which is the biotech index.
yeah.
I've preferred the biotech index because that was the one that was beaten down more, and that's actually done
Uh-huh.
really, really well. But both have done well in this last 6 months.
Yeah.
The XBI, some people are saying, well, now it's ready for a pullback because it's done so well, and blah blah blah. Look, the science is moving very, very quickly. The FDA is a mess in a lot of different
Uh-huh.
ways, but they're still approving things. So
Okay.
it's not. I don't think it's a giant hindrance to approvals, or to data. So I'd be comfortable owning both. I do own both, going into 26 or through 2026. There should be nothing that is too concerning from the administration standpoint, except on the insurance front. That's where the president
Uh-huh.
said that he's going to focus now. Um, on individual names, I'm not going to go through them all. I'll mention that one small cap name that I own it's not going to be lifted with the group is EBS, Emergent
Mhm.
Biosolutions. This is run by a CEO who's had troubles at a previous company that he was in. I've met with them. I met with them a few months ago, and I actually think this is a $20 stock hiding at $12. Um, they make like biosecurity things like anthrax vaccine, so
Okay.
and other biological countermeasures. So it's not
Okay.
really a pharma company in that sense. They're more of a defense play, but that stockpile has to get refreshed all the time. So,
Okay.
but it's lumpy. So that's why a lot of people stay away from it. They also blew up during the COVID vaccine. They were a contract manufacturer for J&J and they screwed up. And so they've
Okay.
been in the penalty box, but I think
Okay.
they're coming out of it. Super risky. Halion, which is a favorite of mine, that's just an OTC healthcare
Yeah.
company. Very
Yeah.
boring. They make Tums. Some of the others, like Z-Lab has not been doing well. I spoke to a hedge fund manager
No.
last week about this, and he goes, "Yeah, they're in like the weak spot instead of the sweet spot of where you want to be for a Chinese. They're not Chinese, but they're active in China, drug
Yeah.
company. They're in licensing U.S. products for China right now. The
Right.
hot area
Okay.
is out licensing drugs from China to U.S. companies. I still like it. It is acting like death, though. Like it is really, it's not done. It's not done well at all. They just got an approval last week, and the stock's down on it. And it's like the approval that I was kind of waiting for. So,
What do you
um,
do on something like that? Are you
smart
doubling
money,
down, or are you just kind of
smart,
watching?
smart money says, "Hey, listen, if the catalyst that you had didn't
Yeah.
generate what you wanted it to, just leave." I'm stupid money, and I'm hanging around for a little while longer. I'm hoping that some of the pressure we've seen recently was just tax loss selling.
You're yeah, right, end of year
Yeah,
stuff. That
and
which
people are
is
getting,
real. Okay.
yep, and 3% today is not fun on top of how much it's been down. So, um, but yeah, I mean, I've mentioned that I've owned some of the big companies like Merck and some Japanese drug companies, but not to go through all of them today. I'll wait till the beginning of the year for
Okay.
that.
Okay. Let you
Still
lengthen
own
your list
Pfizer,
then.
Bob. I still own a little bit of Pfizer.
Hey,
Nice.
David, how big is the weight loss market? In other words, can it continue to grow? Because I look around, I see so many people I know that are on Ozempic or on the GLP-1 drug. And so is it a game of just taking market share from all the players in there now, or is that pie continuing to grow and will it continue to get bigger? Are there a lot of people out there that don't take GLP-1s that will begin to take them in 2026?
Lily wants you to keep saying the pie gets bigger because they love when people
Right.
mention pie. It triggers people to go have some pie.
Pie. I want pie.
Pie, give me the pie. Um, look, no one knows is the real answer. And could it be a 30, 40, $50 billion? Yeah, because you're going to have probably in 2026 Medicare coverage, and that's going to
Mhm.
open up a whole new market. On top of that, yeah, people are coming in. That's like I said, year over year, it's growing. It continues to grow, and the prescription data. It seems like they're going to run out of people at some point. But then what happens is everyone knows that when you get off it, you gain this weight back. So people are microdosing or taking very small doses, and they stay on it for longer. So you do have this maintenance group that probably will be. I don't know if it's the majority or if it will just be a large portion, but so yeah, we can continue to grow. I hear you, and that's my worry is that at some point you hit a wall, and people go, you know what, this I'm a very very famous scientist said early on that so he was wrong. I remember what he said, but he was completely wrong at the timing. But that's a lot of smart people are have that, because it doesn't mean that they're stupid. It doesn't mean you should ignore what they said. He said people are going to get tired of being nauseous all the time, and that's true. Like you lose the weight, and you feel great. At some point, do you go, well, look, I don't want this general queasiness. I feel
Is that
good.
what
I'll go off
happens?
of it.
Do people feel queasy on it when they take it?
So a
Is that
lot
like
of
a
people do.
general
Yeah,
and
that's the
they don't
general.
feel well all the time? Okay.
A lot of people. That's so
Okay.
it's not the majority, but you have a big group that's like, okay, nausea is that's one of the ways you don't eat a lot because you're
Okay.
nauseous. You don't have hunger, but
Hmm.
and so do I think those people will just stop and then they'll start to gain weight back and then they'll come back? Yeah, if it's effective, why wouldn't you? And all the health things, people are going to go to their doctor. They're going to say, they're going to look, your A1C is down. You no longer are pre-diabetic. Okay, look at this. Your blood pressure is down. The health benefits are so great for losing weight, even if you're losing muscle, um, that the feedback loop is going to be like, listen, I'm going to stay on these or I'm going to come back to them. So no one knows how big this could be, but it's clearly going to be the biggest class of drugs that we've ever seen.
And David, just since you're an expert in this and it's the end of the year, so people have been partying a lot, and the change in pricing, right? If that's going to be a dynamic, if someone's starting out now on a GLP-1, Where are they going? What's the price? If they, if their insurance, some insurance, I guess, covers it, some doesn't. Where do they go?
So I'd like to say they should go to Hims. Maybe Hims will send
Yeah.
me a free sweatshirt or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But what happens is, first they should go to their doctor, right? Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so this is an advice that everyone
Yeah.
should
Well, you're
take.
playing one on TV today, so let's say
But if
Dr.
you were to
Maris.
say,
Dr. Maris.
if you were to say you were a relative of mine and you were asking me, I'd say, look, go to your doctor because they're gonna know best. Doctor's gonna give you a script and you're gonna say, well, I don't know, that's gonna cost me like $400 if I go to the pharmacy. You go to Lilly.com or whatever Lilly's website
Yeah.
is, and you see, okay, well, I can get it for $2.99 or $3.99 here. Then you see on Hims, you might get it even cheaper for compounded, but that's not the Lilly drug.
Same.
So then you have some decisions to make of, well, what do you want to do? And but what's happening is with the lower Lilly price, direct price, and the Novo Nordisk direct price, a lot of people are not going to the telemedicine. So anecdotally, that's the big risk to those companies.
Okay.
But starting the new year is a great time for gym stocks and for weight loss drugs.
That's right.
So,
all right. We'll leave it on that note. Thank you, everyone. We've had Bob Morris, David Maris, Nadine Turman here on Wall Street Beats, powered by Passes, on December 29th, 2025. Thank you so much for listening in, and we will catch you back. I think we're on tomorrow, right? We're on tomorrow.
We are. I'm not, so have a happy new year.
Yeah. All right. Take care, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks.